Good afternoon to all of you. I will be presenting on topic upgrading biogas for its application as a fuel for IC engines. As we know, for every region, important prime factor for economic growth as well as living standard of any people, that is how much energy they are using. Most of the energy that we are getting from fossil fuels like coal, natural gas as well as petroleum products or petroleum oil. Now, as you have seen, day by day, due to industrialization, urbanization, energy demand is growing, and that is resulting into increased fuel prices as well as increased environment related pollution problems due to use of these fossil fuels. And that's why we have to find certain options which are sustainable, which are available locally. Almost 14% of global energy demand that is derived from renewable energy sources such as biomass, biogas, solar and wind. As you know, biogas, that is the gas which is produced due to anaerobic digestion of any organic matter by microorganisms. This biogas as biofuel may offer a sustainable alternative to fossil fuel in the transport sector as well as agriculture sector. Now, depending on place, we have different feedstocks which one can use to produce biogas. Most easily biodegradable biomass materials are acceptable as feedstock for anaerobic digestion. These common feedstocks include livestock manure, food processing waste, and sewage sludge. Energy production potential of feedstocks varies depending on type, level of processing, treatment, and concentration of biodegradable material. The feedstocks which are commonly used for producing biogas are livestock manures, waste feed, food processing waste, slaughterhouse waste for mortality, glycerin which is available during biodiesel production, milk cows water, wash water, trace produce waste, industrial waste, food cafeteria waste, sewage sludge, human excreta, bamboo, etc. As you know, biogas production process we can divide in 3 stages. First stage, that is hydrolysis, second stage, that is acidification, and third stage, that is methane formation. In case of hydrolysis, degradation of complex organic macromolecules into monomers during digestion is done. During acidogenesis, conversion of soluble monomers into volatile fatty acid is done. During acetogenesis, production of acetic acid is done. And during methanogenesis, conversion of acetic acid, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide into methane that is carried out. Two types of biogas plant are in use mainly. In large capacity biogas plants which we will be using for upgrading biogas, that will be floating dome biogas plant that works on KVIC model. Another model which is known as pig dome or Chinese model, that we can consider only for lab use. For commercial production of biogas, this KVIC model, that is more in use. The factors which affect production of biogas are temperature, solid concentration, loading rate, retention period inside digester, pH value of feedstock, toxic substances which are available in feedstocks, size and shape of digester, as well as stirring agitation of content of digester. Now once you have obtained biogas, you can use it for different applications. Suppose you have to use it for farm, then you can use it for producing electricity using gensets which will be using dual fuel mode engine. The same engine one can use to run irrigation pump. Also food products, when you have to store for long duration, then you can use it in cold storage. In fact, methane which is available, that is to be used as refrigerant, and that way you can use it. Municipal use, as you know, municipality has to operate sewage treatment plant, and during this sewage treatment plant this biogas is produced. So modern municipal corporations like Indore, Surat, Ahmedabad, they are getting biogas which is processed and then after used to produce electricity. So they have installed biogas fuel nets. If we have to use biogas for household use, then you have seen it's used mainly for cooking. The same biogas one can use for room heating as well as for hot water, which is to be used for boilers and process heating. If we have to, hello, there is some noise coming. Certain other uses, if we have to consider for industries, we can use biogas as fuel for cooking, where we have to use it at canteens. Also to earn carbon credit, we can use it. Also one can use it for as fuel for boilers. For example, if you visit any maize processing unit, then here also biogas is produced. That biogas they are using as fuel for boilers. Also, if your industry is having genset, then same genset one can use on biogas. And as a vehicular fuel, we have to convert this biogas into compressed biogas. Then its composition will be almost identical to natural gas, and we can use it as fuel for vehicle. Now, whatever biogas is produced, if we check its composition in percentage by volume, in biogas you may find methane, CH4, 50 to 70% by volume. If you check its carbon dioxide content, it may vary from 25 to 50% depending on feedstock. Also, it may have hydrogen in the range of 1 to 5% by volume. It may have nitrogen in the range of 0.3 to 3%. It may have water vapor, almost 0.3% by volume. It may have hydrogen sulfide traces. Remember that cow dung, that is the feedstock which will give you least amount of hydrogen sulfide, whereas all other organic matter may have this hydrogen sulfide from 200 ppm to 1000 ppm. So cow dung, that is one feedstock which is considered ideal when you have to consider that biogas is to be processed to convert it into fuel which is to be used as fuel for vehicle. Now this is the table which is showing you composition of raw biogas, upgraded biogas and compressed natural gas. Methane content, if we compare for all these three fuels, in raw biogas, this methane which is from 55 to 65%, whereas natural gas may have methane up to 89.14%, whereas upgraded biogas, it may have even up to 98%, but in general, value about 90% methane, that is sufficient enough to be when you have to use that biogas as fuel for vehicular engine. Carbon dioxide, if we check, then in raw biogas by percentage volume, it will be 35 to 45%. When you have to upgrade that biogas, on upgrading it, carbon dioxide will get reduced by almost up to 4%. In general, in natural gas which is available naturally, it may have carbon dioxide around 4.38% by volume. Also hydrogen, it may be 0.02% by volume in raw biogas. In upgraded biogas, it may be 0.06% by volume, whereas in natural gas, it will be around 0.01% by volume. Nitrogen, 1.98% by volume in raw biogas, whereas in upgraded biogas, this nitrogen may be less. Here value which is given is 2.94, that is for particular sample, but its value with reference to raw biogas, that will be less on processing it. And then after, if you check nitrogen content of natural gas, it will be around 0.11% by volume. Hydrogen sulfide, here average value is taken for raw biogas, that is near 500 ppm. On processing this raw biogas, will reduce it around up to 20 ppm, whereas in case of natural gas, few traces you may find, but in composition of natural gas, you will find other gases also. It may have propane, butane, different proportion depending on site. Auto ignition temperature for raw biogas, that is 650 degrees centigrade, whereas for compressed natural gas, that is around 540 degrees centigrade. For upgraded biogas, depending on methane content, it will be 540 or nearer to 540 within 10% range. If methane content is higher, then auto ignition temperature will be lower. Now this is the table which is showing you energy content of different gases. Here different fuels are considered: methane, purified biogas, raw biogas, butane, propane, ethanol, methanol, petrol, diesel, all these. Here you can see gasoline, it is having its energy content nearer to 45 megajoule per kg, and diesel, that is 42.1 megajoule per kg. If you compare it energy content with raw biogas, then it is around 30 megajoule per kg or 21.5 megajoule per meter cube. In case of raw biogas, methane content considered, that is 60%, whereas in case of purified biogas having methane content nearer to 90%, you will find its energy content to be 45 megajoule per kg or 32.3 megajoule per meter cube. If methane is there, then its energy content, that is 50 megajoule per kg or 35.9 megajoule per meter cube. So higher is the methane content, higher will be energy content of your fuel. So purified biogas here considered is 90%, having 90% methane. But if you are getting higher content of methane like 91 up to 98%, which is obtainable right now due to whatever advances there are in processing biogas, then your energy content will be higher, and depending on that, more heat will be generated. Now here different properties of biogases are discussed. Here calorific value of raw biogas with methane content around 60% by volume, that is 21.5 megajoule per meter cube. Its auto ignition temperature, which is 65 degrees centigrade, that is more as compared to petrol. Higher is the auto ignition temperature, safer is the fuel considered. So as compared to petrol, raw biogas, that is considered safe fuel. As this gas mixes readily with air even at low temperature, so there is no need to provide rich mixture during starting or idling. Now specific gravity of methane is 0.55, which is less than petrol as well as liquefied petroleum gas. So when biogas suppose gets leaked, it will rise during escaping, thus dissipating from the site of a leak. So these characteristics of biogas makes it safer as compared to other fuels like petrol as well as LPG. This gas possesses anti-properties with an equivalent octane number in excess of 120 compared with 87 for regular petrol, and alcohol 105 at its base. This means higher is the compression ratio. You can use higher compression ratio engine when you have to use biogas. Here remember that this value of compression ratio will be more than petrol, but it will be less than diesel. When you will perform any experiment, you will find this value. Air to biogas stoichiometric ratio by volume for complete combustion, that is considered 9.5 Gem 1 to 10 Gem 1. Density of biogas is 1 at 1 atmosphere and 50 degrees centigrade, that is 1.2 kg per meter cube. Now the most important characteristics of biogas, that is its critical point, because when we have to transport it in large quantity, then this critical point is very important. This critical point is thermodynamic state at which liquid and gas phase of that substance will be coexisting in equilibrium. For methane, this critical point temperature, that is minus 82.5, and corresponding temperature, that is 46.7 bar. This means your biogas, which is in purified form, cannot be liquefied at a temperature above minus 82.5 degrees centigrade. This is a major limitation in biogas utilization, because if you have to supply it in large size containers, it is to be liquefied, then only in large quantity you can transport it. But this is requiring cryogenic temperature of minus 82.5 degrees centigrade, and installing cryogenic plant, that increases installation cost. So this is considered major limitation in use of biogas. Now related to biogas and bio-CNG, certain initiatives are taken by Government of India. In 1999, NDA government has focused mainly on biodiesel and bioethanol. And then after, in 2010, UPA government had started promoting this bio-CNG. Our Honorable Prime Minister has given 4 following principles of our vision of India's energy future: energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability, and energy security. And for achieving this, different initiatives which are started by Government of India are Gobardhan, NNBOMP, Satat National Policy for Biofuels, BPGTP, Waste to Energy Program. Related to biogas, if we consider what initiatives are taken, then Gobardhan, that is galvanizing organic bioagro resources. This project was launched in year 2018 to convert cattle dung and solid waste in farms to compressed biogas and compost, which can be used as fertilizer. For this, it was targeted that 700 biogas plants are to be installed. Under NNBOMP scheme, New Nation Biogas and Organic Manure Program, this program was launched to promote family type biogas plant of size 1 meter cube to 25 meter cube. Its main purpose was to provide fuel for cooking purpose mainly, and for that 2.55 lakhs biogas plants were to be started. Sustainable alternate towards affordable transportation. This project was again launched in year 2018 to promote compressed biogas as an alternative fuel for transport purposes also. Government had targeted establishing 5,000 compressed biogas plant by 2025 under this scheme. Another related to biogas, power generation and thermal energy application program, that is known as BPGTP. This was launched to promote community scale biogas plant in size 30 meter cube to 2,500 meter cube, and power generation capacity from 3 kilowatt to 250 kilowatt. National policy of biofuel, that in fact targets mainly on use of ethanol as fuel, replacing petrol by 10 to 25%. 20%. Waste to energy program. This program with the objective of promoting setting up of projects for recovery of energy in the form of biogas, bio-CNG, enriched biogas, CNG, power from urban, industrial and agricultural waste. 500 plus megawatt installed capacity scheme it was targeted to install plants up to capacity 500 plus megawatt. Now, to install these 5,000 compressed biogas plant by 2023-24, government has planned to fetch investment of around 2 lakh crores. The biogas which is produced from such CBG plant that is to be used as fuel for automobiles, and this fuel has potential to reduce fuel import bill by rupees 1 lakh crore. Government has shortlisted 4 different companies for this program. One of these companies from Ahmedabad. Now, concentrating on composition of biogas, our main target that is to increase methane content and to reduce CO2, water, O2 and hydrogen traces. So when you are increasing methane content of raw biogas, then its composition that will be identical to natural gas. This gas is to be compressed like natural gas, then it will be known as compressed biogas. Now, when we have to use this biogas as fuel for engines, 2 different approaches are to be considered. Suppose you have to use it nearer to the plant at which biogas is generated, then we have to consider use of which will be mainly diesel engine, whereas when you have to consider its use as fuel for automotive applications, then it is to be considered to be used as replacement fuel for petrol. So at different places, Government of India has started installing these biogas purification plants. It is targeted that if we use our resources available locally, then 2/3 of our natural gas import we can reduce, which is 429 billion cubic feet. Now, where is the scope of biogas upgradation in India? You have seen in India there are so many common cattle sheds which are known as goshalas, as well as cattle ponds which are known as panjra pools, where animals are given shelter. Such institutions are run on charity basis, and you may have seen these institutions are not that strong financially. So if we install large capacity biogas plant at such location, along with biogas upgradation and compression system, then this may enable these institutions to improve their financial capabilities utilizing their own resources. So, considering this, government is promoting use of this biogas and biogas operated engines, both stationary as well as automobile engines, which will emit zero or low pollution, thus may save environment. Technological improvement in biogas for its use as vehicle fuel, that is a new and emerging field in India. This development of biogas production plant followed by enrichment and compression in a village of a cluster of village can encourage rural entrepreneurship, which may help in sustainable rural development and can provide employment opportunity to so many people. In place of using cow dung cake as fuel, if biogas plant is installed, not only fuel will be available, digested slurry will be available, which can be used as enriched compost. Itself may add income to Gosala, promoting use of this digested slurry as organic manure and discouraging use of chemical fertilizers in agriculture that also can be made possible. Minimizing dumping of cattle dung which is kept untreated just lying here, and this may cause environmental problems due to greenhouse gases like methane and CO2 which are released to atmosphere. Now we will consider biogas upgradation, starting with harmful effects of hydrogen sulfide, moisture and CO2. Hydrogen sulfide, which is present in biogas, लेक्चर जैसा मैं कीधेलू एक थी इतना तमे जाओ. This hydrogen sulfide may react with water and can produce hydrogen sulfate, that is in fact sulfuric acid, which is highly corrosive. These can damage metallic parts of IC engine. So we have to remove moisture as well as H2S from raw biogas. Then only we can avoid corrosion. Likewise, if carbon dioxide is present in biogas, then it will occupy more volume. If CO2 is compressed along with methane in biogas, it will occupy space in the cylinder. So actual storage capacity of our cylinder will decrease because carbon dioxide will occupy certain space in the cylinder. This way, if you reduce hydrogen sulfide, water and then after CO2 present in biogas, then automatically methane content in biogas will increase. If you are raising its content above 90%, then you can use it like compressed natural gas. So for whatever applications you are using natural gas, for all those applications one can use this purified biogas also. This compressing purified biogas will require a good compression system which may raise its pressure up to 150 bar. Now this limit has been increased up to 200 bar by PESO. As per ISO norms, pressure inside the cylinder carrying compressed purified biogas can be taken maximum up to 150 bar. This limit now is increased to 200 bar, but this is only for cascades only. Different technologies which are used for biogas purification, they are water scrubbing, chemical scrubbing, pressure swing adsorption, cryogenic separation, membrane separation. First three techniques we will consider in detail. Remaining two techniques, cryogenic separation and membrane separation, both are in development stage. In fact, cryogenic separation is already there, but its cost is higher, so no one is using it for commercial purpose. Membrane separation process, now due to certain developments, costs are reduced, but its life is less. That's why still Most of the people are installing water scrubbing units or pressure swing adsorption units. Chemical scrubbing is not much popular in India, but it is popular in European countries. Now, when we have to increase potential of biogas as a fuel for IC engine, then how it is possible, what actions are required to achieve that, what are the targeted values, and which action will be useful for which application, that we should study. So, first of all, we have to reduce its corrosive nature. To reduce its corrosive nature, we have to remove hydrogen sulfide and moisture from raw biogas. So once from raw biogas you have removed hydrogen sulfide and moisture, then you can use it as fuel for stationary IC engines. Right now, there are no any standards suggested by BIS for this H2S content and moisture content when we have to use that biogas as fuel for stationary engines. But to increase life of our equipment, we have to reduce this hydrogen sulfide and moisture as maximum as possible. So after removing hydrogen sulfide and moisture, your raw biogas that will be suitable fuel for stationary IC engines. Now by increasing its heating value, how you can increase its heating value? Then by removing carbon dioxide. Likewise, by increasing its portability. How you can increase its portability? By removal of carbon dioxide. So CO2, which is present in maximum quantity after methane, that we have to remove mainly for increasing heating value of our fuel as well as to make it portable. If you have to use biogas at place other than the place at which it is generated, then you have to remove CO2. If you are reducing CO2 from 30 to 45%, from 30 to 45% to 4% maximum, it is possible to use that fuel as fuel for vehicular engines. But at the same time, you have to ensure hydrogen sulfide that is reduced to 30.3 milligram per meter cube. Likewise, moisture content that is also reduced to 16 milligram per meter cube maximum. Then only you can use it as fuel for vehicular engines. For this, BIS are available. We will see the standard afterwards. So, after reducing CO2 up to 4%, after reducing hydrogen sulfide H2S up to 30.3 milligram per meter cube, and also by reducing moisture content up to 16 milligram per meter cube, your biogas will be considered suitable fuel to run it, to use it as fuel for stationary engine as well as vehicular engine. With this composition, your purified biogas will be having its composition almost similar to natural gas, and for whatever application you are using natural gas, for all such applications you can use this purified biogas. Now in detail we will see need to remove moisture. Presence of moisture in biogas to be used as fuel may corrode metallic parts of engine and fuel supply system, and this moisture may react with SO2. So this reaction produces sulfuric acid that corrodes the exhaust pipes of burners, gas lamps and engines. The carbon dioxide reacts with moisture present into biogas to form a weak acid which will readily attack metals. So, raw biogas, after removing moisture as well as hydrogen sulfide, will give good results when used as cooking fuel in gas stove also, because gas stove life will get increased. Need to remove hydrogen sulfide. Again, dissolved hydrogen sulfide that is contained in fermentation slurry and can exhibit the production of biogas, causing its composition to alter. One possible remedy is to add less sulfur-rich material in the plant, dilute with water and stir it vigorously. So, whatever feedstock you are using for your biogas plant, for that you have to check its sulfur content, and accordingly you can control H2S. Presence of H2S may cause corrosion to metal parts such as regulators, gas meters, valves and mountings. That is much more serious, as these will get corroded very quickly. When you carry out combustion of biogas containing hydrogen sulfide, it will produce sulfur dioxide. And when the sulfur dioxide will combine with water vapor, here also it will produce sulfuric acid, which may cause again all these pipes of burner, gas pumps, engines, etc. So, running engines with hydrogen sulfide containing gas can reduce service time period to the first general overhaul by 10 to 15%. The gaseous SO2 also dissolves in engine oil, causing the oil to become acidic and lose its ability to lubricate, damaging the engine and shortening the life between oil changes. The sulfur dioxide is considered more dangerous than H2S, as it is hazardous for health and environment. It will produce smog as well as acid rain. Requirement for H2S removal for biogas vary depending on biogas utilization technology. In European countries, H2S limit for electricity production by IC engines that is kept limited to 100 ppm. Compressed biomethane equivalent to compressed natural gas for use as a vehicle fuel should have level of H2S below 16 ppm as per our BIS. Now we will see different techniques to remove hydrogen sulfide. The first technique, that is oxidation process. For this purpose, in digester, small amount of air by 3 to 6% volume of produced biogas that is introduced, for which small capacity compressors or blowers are used. This will result into chemical reaction 2H2S plus O2 that gives 2S plus 2H2O. By adding ferrous materials also we can do this. For this, we can use oxidized steel wool or chips of iron cut, which is available easily from lathe operation. When raw biogas will come into contact with steel wool or chips, this iron oxide will get converted to elemental sulfur. The chemical equation for this process, that is given by this equation, Fe2O3 plus 3H2S, that gives Fe2S3 plus 3H2O. Then after this 2Fe2S3 plus 3O2, that will give 2Fe2O3 plus 6S. So this way sulfur is removed. Wet technique to remove H2S. For this, caustic is used, NaOH plus H2S, that gives NaHS plus 2H2S. This hydrogen sulfide reacts with sodium carbonate present in solution, forming sodium hydrosulfide, H2S plus Na2CO3, that gives NaHS plus NaHCO3. This hydrated iron oxide introduced in solution will react as Fe2O3 plus 3NHS plus 3NSCO3 will give Fe2S3 plus 3H2O plus 3Na2CO3 plus 3H2. Now, regeneration is also possible by treating sulfuride absorbent with atmospheric oxygen. Ion can be returned to activate oxide form required for purification of biogas. This regeneration cannot be repeated indefinitely. After certain time duration, these absorbents will become coated with elemental sulfur and its pores will become clogged. Now, potential of biogas, bio-CNG. Natural gas which contains 75 to 98% methane along with small percentage of propane, butane, ethane, etc. Whereas your raw biogas may have 60% methane and 40% carbon. So the techniques which are already in use to process natural gas one can use for upgrading quality of biogas also by enriching its methane content up to the level of natural gas. Now to utilize this biogas as fuel for IC engines, two different approaches are considered: biogas to produce electric power and another biogas to bio-CNG. In the power project, biogas is first cleaned and H2S and moisture is removed. Then after this biogas is fed to power generating unit to convert it into electricity. Here there is no need to remove CO2. But removal of hydrogen sulfide is important as it is highly corrosive. In case of bio-CNG production, biogas is cleaned of H2S and CO2 to produce 95% methane. Bio-CNG produced is then compressed and bottled for transportation to the utility site. Biogas-based power generation projects have existed in India for long time. Most of these biogas generating industries in India are using this gas for power generation only. So this concept of bio-CNG, though is fairly new in India, it has started gaining momentum since last few years. It is expected to become a formidable alternative to power generation. Now related to use of biogas as fuel for stationary engine, that we will study first of all, and then after how it can be used as fuel for vehicular engines, that we will see afterwards. So first case study, that is for animal hostel project which was started by our government of Gujarat at Akodra village near Himmatnagar. Here villagers are not keeping their cattle at their home. All these cattle are managed under cooperative approach. So common cattle shed is constructed where cattle you have to keep. So at that place, Gobar bank has also been set up to generate electricity. Then after power produced by Gobar bank, that satisfies inside needs of hostel, animal hostel. At this Akodra site near Himmatnagar, you will find there are 36 sheds. Here water availability through 1 lakh liter water tank, sump of 80,000 liter water. Here you will find 3 units of 85 meter cube plants totaling 255 cubic meter of biogas plants. Government has given 50 hectare Gauchar land for this project. At this site, 3,000 metric ton fodder is also produced, which will be used as feed for cattle. 1,000 metric ton vermicompost fertilizer production capacity is also ensured. So, establishing such animal hostel, certain benefits we are getting. One important benefit, that is dung bank or gobar bank. Dung and urine of cattle will be converted into biogas through scientific method. Here, this will prevent release of 3.2 ton methane in environment. Methane is highly dangerous when it is released to atmosphere. Here, daily 225 unit power is produced, which is used to operate fans, tube lights, and bore wells. So this is photograph showing this animal hostel at Akodra near Himatnagar. Here, caretaker of animal hostel will collect cow dung and will bring it every day to biogas plant, which is weighed. This cow dung is stored in storage tank. There is crusher where it is crushed. Cattle dung taken from dung loading platform area is delivered to feed preparation tank section. Here it is mixed with water, maintaining ratio of 1:1 for fresh cattle dung and 1:1.25 for stale, that is hard cattle dung. The mixture is then mechanically mixed to have homogeneous slurry. Then after you can find anaerobic digestion tank or biogas digester, which creates an anaerobic condition to generate methane gas by methanogenic bacteria. Here KVIC type biogas plant is there, which is employing floating type biogas plant or floating type. Here there is common collecting tank, which is intermediate gas storage before pressure regulating tank is provided for distribution to concerned beneficiaries. Here biogas is compressed by blower, so it is not producing much more pressure. Just to store that gas into tanks, it is compressed by blower. This is showing pressure regulating tank. The gas which is compressed by blower and fed to pressure regulating tank, where gas is upgraded due to passage of pressure. Slurry generated by these biogas plants are being converted into vermicompost for organic farming, which is considered very good fertilizer considering its good nutrient value. Here at the site you will find Kirloskar made biogas genset that is fully run on biogas. So this is not dual fuel engine, it is using only biogas just after removing moisture and H2S. This is showing specification of that biogas generator, which is run fully on biogas. This generator will be producing electricity, which will be used to run 10 HP electric motor for pumping power, 275 light bulbs of 40 watt for lighting purpose, and 120 fans for of 100 watts. They are also used at this animal hostel. Second case that we will consider, that is for Lakshmanpura site, that is community biogas plant. This plant is situated nearer to Palanpur. Here reactor used is different. It is called moving bed high rate anaerobic reactor that is used to generate biogas using multi-feed technology. Here not only cow dung is to be used, here you can use vegetable waste. Nearer to Palanpur from Disa, potato waste is available, which is mainly used at this site, but over and above that, agriculture waste, sugar mill waste, food waste, poultry waste, all these one can use for this reactor. Here capacity was 85 meter cube per day. You can see anaerobic reactor that was made of FRP. This is showing hydrogen sulfide scrubber. Raw biogas produced at digester that will have to pass through this H2S scrubber, so that hydrogen sulfide and moisture both will get removed. This is showing biogas storage balloon. The gas which is produced that is stored in large sized balloons. and before supplying it to genset, it will have to pass from that H2S scrubber where H2S and moisture is removed. Here silent DG set is used. This is also running fully on biogas. So this is single fuel engine, it is not dual fuel engine. Biogas generation and utilization, if we check for this site, then here at this community biogas plant, all villagers will bring cow dung regularly, which will be stored, crushed, and then after supplied digester for acidic process. Then after it is supplied to second digester for bacteria generation. Then after produced biogas that is stored in balloon, which is made from flexible synthetic material. Then after stored gas that is supplied to H2S scrubber to remove H2S. Then after this gas is supplied to run silent DG set of 10 kilowatt hour capacity. This engine is run for 8 to 10 hours daily. For same purpose, this engine is used like we considered for Akodra site. This is showing where this biogas is used. Here 50 families are beneficiaries, 200 animals there are. Now, when we have to use this purified biogas as fuel for vehicular engines, then we have to consider use of this treatment. So after removal of H2S and moisture, you can use that fuel, that biogas for stationary engine. But when you have to use it as fuel for vehicular engines, then you have to remove CO2 also. CO2 is present in raw biogas with very high concentration. These will decrease its energy content per unit mass or volume and will limit its use for low quality energy applications. Now, presence of this CO2 that is highly undesirable, because if it is present, then it will lower power output from the engine. It will occupy additional space in gas storage cylinders. This will require frequent refilling of fuel tank of vehicle, as well as it will result into more energy consumption in compression of biogas. So if CO2 along with methane is compressed and is supplied to storage tank, then we will consider more is the CO2, more is the energy wasted, as CO2 is no way useful for increasing energy content of our fuel. Now, if CO2 is present in biogas, what problems it can create, that we have to consider. If CO2 is present in biogas, it can cause problem of freezing at valves and metering points. Since CO2 will not get liquefied and tend to form dry ice upon compression, storage of biogas in medium pressure tanks would produce lumps in the compressor. This way, removal of carbon dioxide from biogas is essential to increase use of biogas for wider range of applications. So complete separation or removal of CO2 can improve heating value of our raw biogas by about 80% on volume basis, nearly to 25% on a weight basis. Methane burns faster than raw biogas, and hence it will yield higher specific output and thermal efficiency as compared to biogas as engine fuel. Also, if CO2 is absent, suppose in your biogas which is to be used as fuel, then this will enable an additional volume of air to be inducted into the engine cylinder, which will improve volumetric efficiency of the engine. This way, CO2 should be as minimum as possible. Carbon dioxide from biogas we can remove by different techniques. Such techniques are water scrubbing, caustic scrubbing, solid absorption, liquid absorption, and pressure separation. If we consider all these techniques, then the simplest and cheapest method of removing carbon dioxide, that is by washing the gas with water under pressure. A large quantity of water is required to absorb CO2, and the corrosive acidic spent water needs special attention. So you have to consider installation of such unit only where abundant quantity of water is available. For the places where scarcity of water is there, you cannot use water scrubbing. You have to go for chemical scrubbing or any such other process. Caustic scrubbing, that is carried out by dividing CO2 in biogas to react with caustic solution, forming an irreversible carbonate and subsequently reversible bicarbonate. For this, solution of NaOH and water in 40:60 ratios by weight can be prepared in a container. Then after raw biogas is allowed to pass through the solution, then you will find what chemical reaction will take place. 2NaOH plus CO2, that will give you Na2CO3 plus H2O. Different chemicals also can be tried for removal of CO2. So here solution of limestone, that is also considered. When limestone and water are mixed together, you will find that due to exothermic reaction, enormous amount of heat will get generated. You have to take care of that heat generated, else burning problem one may find. So you have to wait till that temperature reduces. So when heat gets disappeared, then only we will allow raw biogas to pass through the solution. So these will reduce carbon dioxide present in the biogas. So Ca was twice plus CO2, that will give CaCO3 plus H2O. In similar way, solution of potassium hydroxide with water 40:60 by weight, that can be used to remove CO2 from biogas. For this chemical reaction considered, that is 2KOH plus CO2, that gives K2CO3 plus H2O. Based on easy availability of chemicals, one can use potassium carbonate technique for separation of CO2. Here K2CO3 plus H2O plus CO2, that will give 2KHCO3. So at your place, whatever cheaper material is available, that you have to use for processing biogas to remove its CO2. I will show you, if we compare solution of limestone, solution of NaOH, solution of KOH, which will give you good results. Now this is showing you BIS 16087, which was available in year 2016. When you have to use biogas as fuel for automotive application and you have to inject it for piped network. You know, natural gas pipeline is laid by Gas Authority of India Limited as well as Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation GSPC. So when purified biogas you have to inject in such pipe network, you have to change its composition, and for that BIS 16087 that is made. Here methane, it should be minimum 90%. CO2, it should be maximum 4% volume by volume. Carbon dioxide N2 plus O2 combined together, it should not exceed 10%. Oxygen content separately also you have to think, that should not exceed 0.5% volume by volume. Sulfur, including hydrogen sulfide in your biogas, should not increase beyond 20 milligram per meter cube. Likewise, moisture, that should be limited to 5 milligram per meter cube. So this is very important standard which is available since year 2016. So if you have to install biogas upgradation plant, then you have to produce purified biogas satisfying these specifications suggested. Now we will see different biogas purification techniques. More importance is to be given to physical absorption, chemical absorption, and pressure swing adsorption, which are the techniques which are in use for commercial purposes, whereas two techniques, cryogenic technique and membrane technique, we will consider only to think that this is the process which also one can use for purifying biogas. Now this schematic arrangement that is showing you physical scrubbing. As per Henry's law, CO2 is more soluble than methane. That is the working principle on which this system is designed to work. Here you can see raw biogas is coming from plant. Here there is compressor which will compress this biogas plant or this biogas. Here value considered that is 0.421 megapascal and temperature considered that is 40 degrees centigrade. So this way raw biogas is compressed. We have to supply it for processing purpose. Now you can see here there is one water tank. From that water tank, water pump will lift water, and from top of this vessel, this water will be sprayed through nozzle. Here in this column you may find packing material. Without packing material also one can operate the system, but to get more methane content, this packing material is important. So from top of this vessel, water is sprayed through nozzle, whereas biogas after compression, that will be entering this biogas unit, this column, absorption column from bottom. Now this gas is having tendency to occupy full volume of this vessel. So it will start occupying this full space, and as outlet is mainly from top, so gas will start moving upward, and from upward you will find that water is falling down. So there will be scrubbing action, and due to this scrubbing action, what will happen? The CO2 present in biogas, that will get dissolved in water. Also H2S which was present suppose in raw biogas, that also will get dissolved in water. So this way hydrogen sulfide and CO2 both will get removed. Then after this biogas coming out from top of the vessel, that will be passed through dryer so that its moisture is removed. Then after this biogas with almost 97% methane, which will be now known as upgraded biogas, that we will be using for our different applications. Now here when you are using water, then it will be known as water scrubbing. Likewise, same principle we can consider for using polyethylene glycol. Also in market by trade name Silaxol and Gensorb, these two materials are available which one can use for organic scrubbing. So in place of water, in such case this polyethylene glycol we have to use, or this Silaxol or Gensorb, that also one can use. In European countries, these Silaxol and Gensorb based plants are more in use. In India, still more focus is given only on water scrubber units. So previously, whatever plants were installed were having water scrubber units only. Since last 5-7 years, now preference is given to pressure swing adsorption technique. This is the technique which is used to purify oxygen as well as nitrogen also. So this technique was already there, only the same technique which was used to obtain O2 and N2, that we have to use to reduce CO2 content from raw biogas. So we can use water or any chemical like polyethylene glycol or Silaxol or Gensorb. If water is used, then it will be known as water scrubbing. If chemical is used, then it will be known as chemical scrubbing or organic scrubbing. What are the advantages if we consider? Then this process is very simple. Biogas which is available will be having very good methane content. Here losses if we consider, then methane loss will be less. Cost of operation as well as maintenance if we consider, then it is also less. Then what are the disadvantages of this technique? Then this requires huge amount of water. Here energy is required for compressing biogas as well as for pumping the liquid, whether it is water or any chemical. Here there are chances of biological contamination. This is requiring external heat when temperature you have to maintain. When packed column is used, then you have to make use of these tower packings. These packings provides a large interface area for the contact of liquid and gas phase inside the packed tower. This has an open structure. It has low resistance to gas flow. This promote uniform liquid distribution on the packing surface. This promote uniform vapor gas flow across the cross section. So these tower packings you have to use at this section. In column at this place you have to provide such tower packings. Now one low cost biogas purification unit which was developed, that is shown here. Here you can see the arrangement. From top of this column, here this green pipeline that is showing supply of water. Water is pumped. With increased pressure, water will be supplied from this point. Raw biogas that will be entering from bottom. Here you have to provide such seal to escape backflow of gas Here, if you provide such loop seal, here water will get retained, so it will provide seal against the gas. So it is must to provide such water seal. So water will be sprayed through nozzle from the top, and raw biogas will be entered. It will be supplied from bottom. There will be physical scrubbing. Then after, biogas will come out from top, so that outlet of purified biogas that is taken from the top. So here you can see dimensions here, at what point this water will enter, at what point this biogas will enter. It is almost 8 inch from bottom, at which raw biogas will enter. Likewise, from top, this pressurized water will be entering. Here, depending on composition of raw biogas, we can get different composition for purified biogas. Almost up to 96% purity is possible. So methane up to 96%, that is possible. So this way, using water scrubbing, we can remove hydrogen sulfide, we can remove CO2. So once hydrogen sulfide is removed, once CO2 is removed, then you can use it as fuel for vehicular purpose, and for that purpose you have to compress it. This is showing you here CO2 plus H2, that it will give you H2CO3. So this way the water which will be drained, that will be having carbonic acid. This is showing major specifications of this setup. Now this is showing chemical scrubbing. I have already shown that principle, that is same here. In place of water you have to make use of different chemicals. Here other chemicals are also shown. Here in case of chemical scrubbing, chemical reaction will take place. In previous case, no any chemical reaction was taking place. Here working principle is CO2 is more reactive than methane. Here raw biogas flow through a counter flow of a chemical solution in a column. Reaction rate between CO2 and chemical solution is directly proportional with temperature. Chemical solution absorbs CO2, leaving biogas with high content of methane. Here which chemicals are used? Then monoethanol amine or dimethyl ethanol amine for amine scrubbing, alkaline solution for inorganic solvent scrubbing, different types of solution resulting in different methane purity. In Europe, by 2015, such 88 plants were operated using chemical scrubbing technique. What are the advantages of this system? Here more CO2 dissolved per unit volume, high methane purity is available, low methane losses are found, faster process than physical scrubbing. The disadvantages, if we consider for this process, then high energy needed to produce steam. Here heating is required, as temperature we have to maintain up to 120 to 150 degrees centigrade. Pre-treatment is required here. Here it is quite difficult to handle solvent. Also salt precipitation, forming and poisoning of amine, that are the problems found with use of this. Here this is showing one lab setup using potassium hydroxide. You can see there are 3 different chambers. In one chamber lime is kept, dry lime is there. In another chamber solution of KOH is prepared, and in third chamber chips of iron or steel wool that is to be kept. So raw biogas will have to pass through this first chamber containing dry lime first of all. From the top it will come out. Here you can see from top this will come out. This pipeline that will be immersed in this solution. Here there will be holes inside of this pipe. So raw biogas will come out from these holes. There will be chemical reaction. Then after the gas which will be coming out from top, that will be entering next chamber containing steel wool. And after providing corrosion to the steel wool, the gas will come out with reduced amount of H2S. So here this dry lime unit that is for removal of moisture mainly. This KOH solution that is mainly, and then after this chamber containing steel wool that is for removal of H2S. So in stages we are removing moisture first, then after CO2, and then after H2S. Then after whatever gas is available that is having methane content above 90%, CO2 less than 4%, and moisture and H2S within prescribed limit as per BIS, and that way the fuel which is available in the form of purified biogas, that we can use it as fuel for IC engines. So this is showing the steel wool how can be used for removal of H2S. For any stationary engine, you can make such unit, this H2S scrubber yourself. Just take any PVC pipe, insert steel wool inside. Biogas will have to pass through the steel wool. So when biogas will pass through it, it will corrode the steel wool, and that will resulting into elimination of sulfur and H2S. So this is showing chemical reactions using KOH and COH twice. Here all these solution, whether you are using NaOH, KOH or COH twice, using this solution, when you will prepare that solution first of all, an enormous amount of heat will be produced as this chemical reaction is exothermic. So you have to take proper care. This is showing use of NaOH for removal of H2S and CO2. Now when you are using all these three different chemicals, NaOH, COH twice or KOH, and if you are using two different pressures, the pressure at which biogas is generated at same pressure you are supplying, and in second case you are supplying biogas after compressing it to 10 bar, you will get different results. In NaOH scrubbed biogas, you will get methane content up to 87.43%, whereas CO2 that will be 4%. This hydrogen sulfide 228 ppm, moisture 3.6%, oxygen 1.79. For all other cases like NaOH scrubbed, COH scrubbed or QH scrubbed, for generation pressure as well as after compressing biogas at 10 bar, what composition will be obtained, that is shown here. The best results were found with use of potassium hydroxide. This potassium hydroxide is somewhat costlier as compared to NaOH and COH twice. Caustic as well as lime both are available in large quantity in our Saurashtra region as well as in our South Gujarat region. Here in South Gujarat region, we don't have scarcity of water, whereas in Saurashtra region there is scarcity of water. So preference is given to such chemical scrubbing. So with use of potassium hydroxide, we can get best result. In terms of methane, we can obtain 92.34%. CO2 1.15%, volume by volume, H2S 142, moisture 3.1 and oxygen 1.20. Only chemical scrubbing will not be sufficient enough, as H2S content and moisture content will not be within prescribed limit. So again there will be different chambers, one containing steel wool, one containing either silica gel or dry lime. Silica gel as well as dry lime both can absorb moisture. Even wood dust or sawdust can be used for absorbing moisture. Whereas for removal of H2S, one has to use steel wool mainly. This is showing that setup. Steel wool, first of all, here what raw biogas that will be supplied to water scrubber, then after steel wool, then after QH, and for removal of moisture, blue silica gel is used. So if you are using water scrubbing, if you are using only chemical scrubbing using KOH, and then after if you are combining water scrubbing followed with chemical scrubbing using KOH, what results will be obtained? These results are summarized here. You can see raw biogas was containing methane 60.43%, CO2 30.82%, H2S 798 ppm, moisture 3.888, O2 2.9%. Whereas on water scrubbing, after compressing raw biogas, you can obtain methane 92.5%, CO2 1.9%, hydrogen sulfide 49 ppm, moisture 3.1%, oxygen 0.45%. Whereas when you combine this water scrubbing and chemical scrubbing using KOH, you supply this biogas at pressure 10 bar, you will get best result as compared to all. Here methane purity that will be 97.2, carbon dioxide gets reduced to 0.4%, hydrogen sulfide 16 ppm, moisture 0.2, oxygen 0.2. So these shows using water scrubbing followed by chemical scrubbing using KOH, it is possible to obtain purified biogas which will be fulfilling our requirement as per BIS for purified biogas, which is to be used as fuel for vehicular fuel. Now another technique which is becoming more and more popular where scarcity of water is there. Also when you have to consider use of chemical scrubbing, then depending on which chemical you are using, cost is associated. So considering scarcity of water and considering cost of chemical, another technique which is being used and which is becoming more and more popular, that is pressure swing adsorption technique. This technique was originally developed by Linde, and then after that technology was transferred to many other organizations. In India, the technology is given to BHEL. Previously, it was BHPV, Bharat Heavy Plates and Vessels. That unit is taken over by Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. So they are providing such pressure swing adsorption units for purifying biogas. And if we consider locally, in Ahmedabad only, 4 different private players there are which are highly popular all over India. One of that organization, that is Atmos Power. Whether you visit Rajasthan, whether you visit Madhya Pradesh, whether you visit Haryana, at all different places you will find pressure swing adsorption process to purified biogas that is supplied by Atmos Power. That is the company which is situated at Naroda, Ahmedabad. So what is the working principle of this technique? If we consider CO2 adsorbed on surface of an adsorbent by the van der Waals forces. Pressure increase results in gas adsorbed and vice versa. Here there are 4 steps: adsorption, depressurization, desorption. There are 4 different chambers. Here 2 will be in process and 2 will be in regeneration. Right now, pressure swing adsorption technique is only used in India. This temperature swing adsorption and electric swing adsorption technique, that is nowhere used in India. They are used in European countries. Here, which material is used as adsorbent material? Then carbon and zeolite, that is used for pressure swing adsorption for adsorption technique. In Ahmedabad and in surrounding areas, you will find number of industries providing this zeolite material or carbon molecular sieves, which are used for this adsorption column. Here, how this system works, that is to be considered. Raw water biogas, that is compressed. This compressed biogas is passing through H2S scrubber, so that H2S will get removed. Then after it will be supplied to adsorption column. Here carbon molecular sieves will be there. Here even alumina can be used. It is having good affinity to absorb CO2. So CO2 will get absorbed. Moisture also will get absorbed. So H2S was already removed in separate unit. Whereas in adsorption column unit, CO2 will get removed, moisture will get removed, and then after the gas which is coming out from adsorption column, that will be upgraded biogas. Its methane content will be about 90%. Here, with passage of raw biogas, that carbon molecular sieves or zeolite material or alumina will be getting its properties of absorbing CO2 diminishing. So after certain time duration, though you are passing this raw biogas after removing H2S through this adsorption column, you will find that there will not be significant decrease in CO2 mainly. So at that time this column needs reactivation. So here already another unit that will be in regeneration purpose. So here there will be downflow, upflow, and there is one regeneration technique specially designed for particular plant, and accordingly your second bed will get reactivated. So what are the advantages of this technique? Here high gas quality is obtained, low methane losses, this process is dry, low energy demand. Here power consumption is less, that is the main thing. Here water required is very less. Here no chemical is used. In fact, these carbon molecules are used, but these are the materials which are having property to get regenerated. So these are not consumable chemicals. What are disadvantages? This process is complex. It requires pre-treatment for removal of H2S. Couple of streams needed to increase biogas quality. In fact, once this plant get disturbed, to re-establish normal functioning of this plant may require from 1 day to 7 days. That's why few people are still using water scrubbing, because for certain applications supply of purified biogas will be very important, and spending 7 days that will not be feasible economic. It will not be economical. So depending on place, you have to choose particular technique, but the places which were having water scrubbers previously have also started replacing their water scrubbers with these PSA based biogas upgradation units. Right now we will think about this membrane separation. This is almost similar to your RO plant. Here also raw biogas is to be treated for removal of H2S, so there will be H2S scrubber. Then after here there will be one heat exchanger where chilled water will be supplied so that moisture will get removed. So this way gas which is free from moisture, free from H2S, that now will be supplied to compressor. Compressor will compress it, will supply it to membrane. It will work on same principle on which our RO plants to process water are working. Separation of biogas components using membrane as permeable material, that is done here. Selection of permeability properties of membrane, that is crucial. Ascending order of permeation rate, that is N2, H2S, CO2 and H2O. Here there are different techniques. One is dry technique, another is wet technique. In dry technique, H2S and oil vapors are to be removed first of all, and then after biogas is pressurized and injected into membrane. Whereas in gas liquid separation or wet technique, liquid and gas is separated by membrane and impurity in the gas is absorbed by counter current flow of liquid. The advantages of this system are: it is environment friendly, low energy consumption, it is low cost method, it is very simple process. The disadvantages are low membrane selectivity, pretreatment is required, low methane purity. In fact, methane purity up to 96%, 95% is observed, yet as compared to PSA and water scrubbing techniques where 98% methane is obtained, here you can say methane purity obtained is less. Cryogenic separation unit, this is the same system which is used to obtain liquid nitrogen. You may find cryogenic plant in different industries like Reliance Industries, Jamnagar, or you can see in any refinery, in any fertilizer plant, you will find cryogenic plant, especially to get liquid nitrogen. The same technique one can use for separating methane. The working principle on which this system is designed to work, that is different gases condense at different temperature pressure domains. Boiling point of CO2 is higher than methane, so allowing its separation from methane. Biomethane produced by gradual decrease of temperature and compressing the biogas is possible. And here you will find expander will be there, which will be running at very high speed of around 50,000. Here the compressor which is shown, right, that also will be high speed machinery. Here temperature maintained will be very less. You can see the temperature maintained is -45 in this cooler, -55 in this cooler. In fact, -82 degrees centigrade is the temperature at which your methane will start getting liquefied. But here you have to liquefy CO2 so that easily CO2 gets removed and from top methane can be separated. So what are the advantages of this cryogenic separation technique will be checked here. High gas quality is obtained, methane losses are less, this system is environment friendly, produces LBM with low extra energy. The disadvantages, if we consider, it is also requiring pre-treatment, installation and operation cost is much more higher. Here high energy is also required for cooling. Technology is already developed now. In fact, this is showing you comparison of between all these 4 different techniques: water scrubbing, chemical technique, cryogenic cooling, membrane technique, as well as PSA, or that is also known as molecular sieve technique. Now once biogas is upgraded, then it is to be compressed so that you can transport it from one place to another place. So the energy density of upgraded biogas is comparatively low at ambient pressure, and as a result, it must be compressed at high pressure 200 to 250 bar to allow it sufficient storage in bottle or cylinders. You have seen in case of CNG, almost 200 bar pressure is taken. Previously, Government of India organization, regulatory body PESO, that had given 150 bar a maximum pressure which was allowed by PESO, that was 150 bar. Now it is allowed up to 200 bar, but in field I have seen people have taken pressure up to even 250 bar 50 bar for their cascades when it is to be transported from one place to another place. Compressing biogas will reduce storage space requirement, will concentrate energy content, and increases pressure to the level needed to overcome resistance to gas flow. Compression can eliminate the mismatch of pressure and guarantee the efficient operation of the equipment. Here you can see set up schematic arrangement of one biogas bottling plant. Here high pressure compressor is required, cascade of storage cylinder is required, and then after dispensing nozzle for filling the compressed purified gas in the vehicle that is required. One upgraded biogas dispensing system developed by Dr. V.K. Vijay sir at IIT Delhi, that is making use of this high pressure compressor, that was of Didwania Technologies. Here there are 2 cylinders which are interconnected when biogas is to be stored, and then after this is showing third photograph, that is showing dispensing nozzle. Such high capacity diaphragm type compressors are required. The main problem with use of purified biogas found, that is cost of this compressor for bottling plant. In fact, natural gas is also to be compressed, so that way we can consider that the same compressor also is to be used for compressing biogas. Now storage cylinders where biogas is to be stored when we have to consider, then LPG cylinders can store only less quantity because pressure allowed, that is 14.2 bar only. If you are using CNG cylinders to store purified biogas, then from 200 to 250 bar 50 bar pressure is possible, whereas composite cylinders, here again you can raise pressure up to 200 to 250 bar. Now if we consider storage capacity, then for regular CNG cylinders, 8 to 10 kg purified biogas with 90% purity can be stored. Also 8 to 10 kg purified biogas at 200 bar pressure we can store in composite cylinders also. But the cost of CNG cylinder, that is less, it is around 10,000 to 20,000 depending on capacity, whereas composite cylinders still are costlier in India, but as its weight will be less for certain vehicular applications, we can consider use of composite cylinders to store biogas. Different biogas plants which I have already visited and where water scrubbing technique was there, to remove H2S, CO2 and moisture. That is Madhav Gosala near Bhilwara. Here biogas is processed by water scrubbing technique. Here they are using DG sets. They are having two cascade of 2 cylinders. Here purified biogas they are using to run vehicles for that ashram and that Gosala. Then after Muni Ashram near Vadodara, here also you will find water scrubber. Here also they are using purified biogas but as cooking fuel only for their canteen at Cancer Hospital at Goraj. Then after Sasi Energy Tohana in Haryana, they are also having PSA, this water scrubber unit. Here also purified biogas they are supplying as cooking fuel to local halwais, local manufacturers of plastic tanks. Enhanced Energy Incorporate, Savli near Baroda, they are processing biogas. Here also they are supplying purified biogas only to be used as cooking fuel. IIT Delhi that is having demonstration unit. Here water scrubber is there. They are bottling that purified biogas and they also run one Wagoner using that biogas. Whereas tracer swing adsorption technique which is used, the first biogas purification plant which was commercially successful, that was Asoka Biogas plant at Talaude near Trambakeswar near Nasik. This is the plant at which maximum experiments are done by MNRE, our Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. They generate 160 units. Here that Asoka group that is operating certain educational institutes having hostel also. So purified biogas they are supplying as cooking fuel as well as the vehicles which will be transporting those bio CNG cylinders, they are also using that purified biogas. Muni Ashram Bakrol near Vadodara, they are purifying by using water scrubber as well as PSA system also since 2017. Here they are using that purified biogas as cooking fuel for their cancer hospital at Goraj. So this is showing schematic arrangement starting from cow dung, how purified water biogas can be purified, can be bottled and can be used as fuel for different application. For cooking application here it is shown. So this way we can see to use biogas as fuel for stationary engine we have to use moisture and hydrogen sulfide only. Removal of CO2 is not essential for running the engine, stationary engine. Here I have shown for both those case studies 100% biogas was used, but if you want to run it in dual fuel mode then also it is possible. You have to provide one biogas air mixer in the system and you can supply diesel up to certain quantity and then after biogas in certain quantity. So dual fuel mode of CI engine is also possible. Maximum work is done on water scrubbing and now people have started working chemical scrubbing also. So chemical which gets consumed that needs regeneration and people are working on minimizing consumption of such chemicals. So these days more and more people are giving preference to PSA based technique, and using PSA technique it is very easy to remove CO2, moisture and hydrogen sulfide so that the fuel which is available on purification that can be used easily as fuel for vehicular engines. So when you have to run your vehicular engine, the CNG kit which you are using, same kit you can use, and cylinder which is storing CNG, same cylinder will store bio CNG, and that way we can run our petrol mode engine on bio CNG using same infrastructure which is available for CNG. These are different techniques which one has to use. Bio CNG, then after, if you are having cryogenic plant, then liquefied biogas, then after biomethanol or biogasoline, that is one new technique being developed. Here gasoline is produced by upgrading methanol through methanol to gasoline process. This technique is still in development stage, but it is possible to get methanol from methane which is available with your biogas. So this way one can use biogas as fuel for petrol engine as well as diesel engine. Then what is the optimum compression ratio that needs to be checked. Also tribological studies one can carry out. Also commercial viability of biogas purification and bottling plant, that also one can find. So comparative study between CNG and purified compressed biogas on engine performance, that also one can carry out. An application of purified biogas, that is not only limited for cooking purpose or for fuel for your vehicular engine. Also you can use it for gas cutting purpose, gas welding purpose. Remember this thing. You are using acetylene for gas cutting purpose or gas welding. In place of that, you can use this purified biogas also. Also biogas we can convert into formaldehyde as well as methanol. So these all are new research areas in which you have to start with use of biogas. So this way biogas, and then after its purification, that is found very useful when you have to use it as fuel for different applications. So if you have any doubt related to any of the content, you can ask me. Thank you.